Andy Lou, the Golden State Warriors have defeated the New York Knicks 111-101, moving to 7-1 at home.
Wow.
While being 0-8 on the road.
Wow.
Before we get into this, I've said this before, there's not a team I enjoy watching less than the New York Knicks. And this game was the perfect example. We got positive Warriors vibes off the bat, and Tibbs is like, let's turn this baby into a root canal.
It's so bad. They're so bad. And the thing about the Knicks is that they're not actually a bad team. They're actually fine. But oh my goodness. It's Jalen Brunson doing like a poor man's version of heliocentric Luka Doncic basketball. Julius Randle is one of my least favorite watches on earth. RJ Barrett has regressed after getting paid. Cam Reddish got hurt tonight, but like he's one of those like talented guys, but he's actually not good. So it is just
Tibbs just yelling at them to play harder, which means they'll just foul a lot and just you know what? Shout out Knicks fans for watching this 82 nights a year because it's not fun.
Speaking of fun, this show is brought to you by Pacific Catch before we get started with anything else. So as all post-game Light Years podcasts are this season and hopefully every season after, they are brought to you by the greatest local restaurant in the Bay Area, Samuel, Pacific Catch.
West Coast living, sustainable eating. I actually had some ramen. Had some of the noodle time menu last night. Delicious. I recommend everyone get it. I went with the red curry, the spicy ramen. Hit the spot. Yeah. Locations across the Bay. We actually threw out a poll, and I said, where would you want us to do an event? Marin, San Francisco, or Peninsula. A little biased to like the areas we're in, and we got a lot of people yelling at us, telling us to go out to the East Bay. You know what? We might do that too. We might go out to Walnut Creek, do a little Pacific Catch out there. But the point is they got locations across the Bay Area.
That is the point. Brought it all the way back. We're selling Pacific Catch. Did you catch Fitz selling sandwiches like in between quarters? That guy is made for that guy is made to show. I'll tell you that. Like there's nobody in the there's nobody in the Bay Area better than promoting something than good old Bob Fitzgerald.
Best in the biz. All right.
All right.
Let's get down to it with this game. So I feel like the first thing that stands out to me about this Warriors-Knicks game is it felt more like Warriors basketball. It was not perfect, but the ball was moving, and it felt kind of like what we associate with Warriors basketball.
It did. It was obvious to me probably a minute in when Klay came off a screen and decided not to shoot a contested shot for once. I was like, oh shit. Like what's going on tonight? Did Steph, what happened? Did they yell at him for a couple straight days here? Stephen A. Smith got on radio and started talking. Did Klay start listening? So when that happened to me, yes, it felt to me like that. That's how it started. This team is still struggling in certain areas. You can tell. They've got things that they're not good enough right now. But for a team that's 6-9 coming into the night's game, they needed something like this where I don't really care if they win by 30. Like you said, it's more about, can you just look like a team that's the team that we've seen for the last 8 years, right? We've watched them play a certain style, and tonight kind of felt like the first time, maybe second time since opening night that they've played like the Warriors. Yeah.
Look, we could complain every episode about how they should have kept GP2 and they should have kept Otto Porter and all that sort of stuff. The reality is they didn't. And because of that, they're in a little bit of a hole now. And now is the question, can they mold this bench together and get them playing more like the Warriors? We know the starting lineup can hang with everyone. So the question is, can they develop out this roster the rest of the way to get them there? And tonight, I'm not going to say it was like, a massive step, but it was a step in the right direction there. And you know where it started? Start Steph Curry. I thought he made a very concerted effort to move the ball early, get Klay going, not look for his own shot, which, by the way, he had every right to do. After he's the hottest player in the NBA right now. Like he's averaging 33 points, shooting like 88% or whatever from the field. Like he's kind of on an all-time heat spell. And instead of hunting his own shot, he's like, what do I need to do to get my team going? And it was 5 assists in the first 5 minutes. Very concerted effort. It felt very concerted. And I think those are the type of things that kind of encourage me. I'm still skeptical on the bench, like long term. Like I feel like they need more players, like even just probably make a move from outside the roster. But it did feel like Steph's going to do what he can to bring the best out of this roster.
Yep. It really reminds me of him coming off the bench in the postseason last postseason, right? And just kind of showing Jordan Poole like, hey, you can come off the bench, and kind of showing them the sacrifice it takes to win basketball games, man. Like we've talked about it. The issue with the Warriors right now is guys aren't willing to sacrifice their egos to win basketball games. Klay being right at the top of the list is he's shooting everything. Jordan Poole's another guy who, I mean, it just frankly, it looks like he's pouting when he's not starting. You've got Draymond Green out there, who's maybe not playing as well as he's been always. And then you've got the young kids who didn't start the season playing with energy. But now, Kuminga went out there today, ton of energy. Klay, you could tell he's bought in, at least for tonight. And then Jordan Poole, I'm still looking for more aggression, but he got there in the second half. He was better with more aggression. So I think this team got kind of kicked in the mouth a little bit to start the season. I think they were a little surprised by how poorly that they played. So I don't know, maybe this is a turning point. They get Houston next, right? So that should be another game that they should play well. It's a bad team. The Knicks, part of it is tonight, Sam, the Knicks were terrible. They were.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it's the Warriors played well, but my God, they played bad. For a team that's not bad. Like they played really, really poorly. So that helps.
Yeah. Let's talk about Klay, because I feel like he's probably the biggest story of the game. Best game of the season by far. He has not shot 50% from the field coming into this game, which is, not the greatest thing on earth. Shot 50% today. I think more importantly than anything, he showed restraint on some shots. Took in rhythm shot. He had a couple bad shots, but like he's a shooter. He's going to take a couple shots that you're like, that was a little aggressive. There's a difference between like 1 to 2 of those, and I'm gonna hunt it for
entire
anytime. Yeah, which is what he did, which is what he's been doing recently, which is like, all right, man, like at least try to be concerted. Right. Tonight, moving the ball if he's not open, taking his set shots, open shots, transition shots, the ones that you want him to take. All around, his best individual game of the season, 20 points, 8 for 16 from the field. 16 is the number that stands out to me. The thing that had been most annoying about Klay's play up to this point is like, bro, you're not feeling it. You're completely out of rhythm. I don't need you taking 20 shots, like try to rein it back. And it felt very sustainable in some ways. Like if he just locks himself in a little bit and tries to repeat this type of play, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's it. It's 100%. And on the other side, defensively, I thought he was good tonight. I think part of it is again, the Knicks were bad, but part of it too, the Knicks have really just a bunch of jumbo wings and no quick guard outside of Jalen Brunson, who the Warriors just put Wiggins on. Mm-hmm. And when Klay's able to guard the big wings, just, think Tatum and Jaylen Brown, like in the NBA Finals, or even Luka Doncic, right, in the Western Conference Finals. When he can guard guys like RJ Barrett and Reddish and Julius Randle even, he's way better on defense. You just can't have him guard someone chasing around screens like a Anthony Simons or someone anymore, right? Like you just can't. I don't know why I threw Simons. There's other guys that he wasn't able to guard, but he can't guard those guys anymore.
First place Blazers. Yeah.
I don't know why that like randomly popped into my mind. I think I was thinking of McCollum. But when he can guard those bigger, slower wings, like he could still do that really, really well, which is what he did tonight. And then he looks better on offense. So yeah, man, 31 minutes he played. So I keep hoping that some of it is the legs. Maybe he's just getting that under him a little bit. But yeah, mentally, he was there tonight. That's the most important part. Mentally, he was willing to play Warriors basketball.
You mentioned they're going to Houston on Sunday. Got a little Houston, New Orleans, back-to-back on the road. It presents an opportunity for the Warriors to finally break this stupid losing streak on the road. Like, Houston is, well, to be honest, the Lakers might be the worst team in the NBA. But
watching them right now struggle against the Pistons.
Houston's up there. You should be able to go into Houston and win. And then New Orleans, they're not a bad team. They're a good team, but like, I don't know who's playing on Sunday. Is Zion going to play? Probably not. It's one of those things where they have an opportunity to build a little momentum, come back home, have the Clippers on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I don't want to call it a soft part of the schedule, but like, they're not running into teams who are feeling it right now. And I think that's important to call out a little bit, because this team does need to get into a little bit of rhythm here. And hopefully tonight was the start of moving yourself there.
100%. Yeah. I was hoping that it would be in Phoenix. I mean, they had a nice win at home, and then, but it's a long season. It's a long season, and all the teams in the Western Conference are, I mean, you just said it, dude. Portland is in the first place. I mean, that's how you know the Western Conference is unserious. Come on.
Utah's right there too.
Big win tonight. Big win. Did you watch that?
I caught the end of it. I don't know if it was the same as you, but I was getting the notification on my phone. It's like, oh, I gotta see what's going on right there.
I gotta watch Lowry marketing, dude. The freaking Finnish hammer, or whatever the hell they call them down there, dude. Portland and Utah. Come on.
I know. I posted an article on Bleacher Report today of trade options for James Wiseman. And Utah is like a popular one because everyone assumes they're going to continue making moves. They traded Mitchell and Gobert in the offseason, and it's kind of like the assumption is they're just going to kind of wheel and deal until they find like top picks and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, man. Like, if they're going to play like this, they might as well just ride it out, right? So they play Warriors basketball, by the way. Like, you want to talk about like ball movement, Olenek passing it, just everyone knowing their role and being bought into their role. Obviously not high-end talent, but it speaks to how much success you can have if everyone just buys into their role.
Which, back to the Warriors. Maybe that's what they're gonna do. I mean, Kuminga had an interesting quote before the game that I thought was, "Hey, like, I think we're gonna be a dangerous team if we're a team that is willing to kind of put aside these selfish agendas or whatever it is that we're playing with and play together." And I'm just like, wait, what? Kuminga said that? He's 20 years old, and he pops up a quote that I thought Andre Iguodala would say. I thought that was a great quote from him, and a mindset that I think if all these
that's what you want to hear.
That's, I mean, and the one thing, just real quick, I do think Kuminga is going to. I see he's playing 9 minutes here, and I saw I almost said Jeremy Lamb. Anthony Lamb played 14. I do think a lot of those minutes are going to be Kuminga's here in the next couple of weeks. Lamb came in super impactful, super energetic, but you can tell that he's not a true NBA player. If Kuminga gets his mind right, he should be able to play at least 15 more minutes, and that'll put him at about 20 minutes a game consistently. And that's where I think, as a Warriors fan, you should be able to start seeing some growth with Kuminga two-way, because he's just he has to play, right? And I think
he's talented. I don't think it's a hot take.
Yeah, I just think it makes sense though, right? That Lamb's getting those minutes right now. Like, if you're Steve Kerr, you're like, well, you don't deserve them because you weren't ready to play. But Kuminga looks like he's ready to play. He looks better. So,
yeah. Speaking of the bench, let's talk JaMychal Green for a quick second here. Probably his best individual game, and still like kind of points to this overarching thing where it's like, through no fault of his own, like, he's not Otto Porter. He's not, he's not Andrew Bogut. He's not some of the bigs the Warriors have had. He had 12 points. He was efficient. He was really active. He still kind of got pushed around on the glass at times. And just generally, like, the Warriors want to have bigs who can make decisions, right? Like they want someone who they can throw the ball into and kind of run the offense through a little bit. And that's not who JaMychal is. And that's kind of where I point to, Dante's filling the role of being kind of like the Iguodala of the second unit, like being the smart guy who makes all the extra passes. But I think they thought JaMychal could do that, and he's more of just an energy. Like, he's a very good energy player, but probably not the guy who's going to like settle your team in some way.
So I think that's a great point. So I think when Jokic said he loves playing with JaMychal Green, and I kind of think of the struggles with the Warriors, it did hit me why. I mean, with Jokic, he's the one that's making all decisions, and he's the one that, hey, just stand in the corner, right? I'll get you the ball when you're going to be open. And I do think with the Warriors second unit, which is where JaMychal Green has primarily played, that's not how it works. And that you can see Jordan Poole struggle with trying to figure out how to play with the second unit and being a leader there. He's not able to do that right now at a point in his career. So I think like that's really what it is. I don't think these guys are individually struggling, but I do think when they're put in these roles, they're not used to it. Like you're saying, like JaMychal Green had a couple good passes out of the mid post today, split cut, and then opposite. Like he had a couple nice ones, but Otto Porter was like game one. We sat there and we're like, oh shit, the dude can just make a good decision from anywhere on the floor. You're muted, Tim. But it just, it's I think one of those things where it might take time. I think that's where I get a little bit more bullish on it, where it's like maybe they will figure it out though, especially if it's a veteran like JaMychal Green, Dante DiVincenzo, who you could tell is smart, Jordan Poole, which you and I think like as long as he gets a grade, he'll be fine, right? And then maybe you get Kuminga acclimated, right? So I think those are the right players that they're playing. It's not like Wiseman's out there for 15 minutes and you're just like, that's not changing. Right? You're just like, that's not changing. With these guys, it's, I don't know. I could see these guys just getting better the more they play together. It's just not going to be like bang, bang, bang. Right away, they're great. It's just not going to be like that. Not like it was last season.
One quick shout out, Andrew Wiggins. Excellent game.
Right.
Probably best player for the Warriors outside Steph tonight. Just part of it was Klay ceding some of that scoring responsibility to him. Yes. But the other part was just Andrew Wiggins taking it. I love when Wiggins is aggressive on the glass. 2 rebounds in Phoenix, not acceptable. Tonight he had 7. Felt like the Wiggins that we've kind of come to really enjoy this last year, particularly in the playoffs. Honestly, probably needs to be the second scoring option for the foreseeable future, where Klay kind of fits in more as that like third option, playing smartly off him and Steph. But it seems like at least for one night, Klay kind of understood that and is kind of going into it. And I think if he enters the game with kind of that mindset, it'll fall into place a little easier.
I think you could tell he was frustrated with Klay.
Yeah,
the last couple games. I think it affected. Why wouldn't it? The rebounding, the defense. I mean, when you're a guy like that, you're so good at the dirty work, and you did it in the highest stage, but you're also frustrated because you've got a dude that's just constantly chucking. So I think today you saw Wiggins Klay kind of make it a point even to get it to Wiggins, which I thought was funny, because last game, you and I were sitting here last game and we talked about the play where Klay shot it in transition from 32 down 7 when they had the momentum with Andrew Wiggins wide open. That thing went viral, right? So it's cool to see kind of them make those changes and be because those guys are veterans. Like for someone like Klay and Wiggins, Draymond and those guys, they've been doing this for so long. They don't need to take time to get better. We know it's wrong. Let's just fix it the next game versus some of these younger kids where it's like, Moody's still not off the bench. Like he's not even close to the rotation, which to me is a little shocking. But
you want to talk about that real quick?
I don't know what's going on.
Steve said pregame, and actually, let's throw that one up there first, real quick. I'll get the quote. Steve said pregame basically that he's turning the ball over too much and that he needs to learn that he can't do that. Like, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like you're not Steph Curry. I'm not giving you the freedom to throw some, some crazy ass passes. Which, on the one hand, I get. On the other hand, it's I would think he'd give him a little more rope at this point.
I think I agree. I think there was a little surprise coming into the season where I was like, damn, Moses Moody shoots a lot. Right. And it's like, well, he's their best player in summer league. He's their best scorer in summer league. He's their best player in the G League last season, right? And I think a lot of it was like, wow, he would average like 25 points a game, and it almost felt like he was like, well, I'm young, I'm gonna do what I've been doing, and I'm gonna get my buckets there, and we all kind of assumed that he was willing to play that role player position, but he shot it every time. I think when Steve's also talking about turnovers, I think a lot of it is just shooting turnovers. It's just the dude gets the ball and just chucks it, right? It's like the Klay Thompson turnovers, but you're not Klay Thompson. Klay can do that because he's Klay Thompson. Right. So I think he finds his way back in the rotation, but as of right now, it looks like it's Kuminga. Kuminga's defense, by the way, at least on ball. He's not a Wiggins, he's not GP2, but damn, man, give him some time, give him some reps. He's going to be such a good on-ball defender, even if that's the least he could do.
Not a lot of guys who can move like that at his size on an island. All right, let's play what Steve said here. Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
I think it's more of a numbers thing than anything, where he's playing behind some vets. And, when you get to that spot in the rotation, there's a number of people who could play each night, whether it's Kuminga, Lamb, Dante. Moses is still a young player, so he's got to learn from his mistakes, but he needs to play and to be able to play through those mistakes too. So, and I would say what I've talked to him about is he can't be a high turnover guy. Steph and Draymond are going to be our turnover guys. They're going to have the ball in their hands all the time, and they're allowed to turn it over. Moses isn't allowed to, be a high turnover guy. And I think he's learning, when you get into the paint in the NBA, these shovel passes in traffic are not going to work. And so it's good that he's figuring that out and learning, but he's got to advance from there, and it's got to be either a lob or a bounce pass in traffic, and then possibly just a kick out and not try to make the spectacular play. I think those have been issues. And then fouling too. He's been prone to fouling. So those are areas where he's got to continue to improve. But more than anything, like I said, it's a numbers thing. We can't play everybody. So I'm trying to give different guys a chance and go from there.
Following up on.
Hey, it is shocking to me, although maybe not shocking. The dude's directly calling him out.
Yeah.
He is just directly saying, hey, look, dude, you're not Steph. Stop doing dumb passes. You're not Klay. Stop shooting those shots. You can't defend that well. Like, it's just straight up saying
you're a role player, bro.
Yeah. It is. How does he truly feel about James Wiseman? You know what I mean? How does he truly feel about Jonathan Kuminga? Because Wiseman's in the freaking G League. You know what I mean? And Steve Kerr's over here saying, like, he's going to be a good player. I have full belief. Do you, though? You know what I mean? Because he looks like he's speaking the truth about Moses Moody.
It does tell me that Moody can take it, because if Steve was worried that it would crush his confidence, he wouldn't say that, because it's not even like he said anything mean. It's just matter of fact. Like, I need you to play smarter. You're going to be in there for 5 minutes at a time as a role player. You need to, you're not Steph. I don't need you going into a 3 dribble combination and trying some stuff. I need you to pass or shoot, just move the ball. So it makes sense. It's always funny when Steve gets honest with the media like that. We got one Klay quote, then we'll get to the goons real quick. Okay. All right, Steve on Klay Thompson. Much more patient early, and it paid off for him. It paid off for our team, too. I thought he was great.
There's another quote, by the way, that says Steve says, the game rewarded Klay. By the way, just classic Steve. The guy
ball finds energy.
Remember Socrates? Remember
Yeah.
that guy is a if it's one thing Steve Kerr is going to do, he's going to build propaganda off his philosophy of basketball. And you know what? Dude's right. I mean, the dude's right. Right? Like the dude's been right for a very long time about a lot of things. He's wrong about some things too, but this specifically, the way the Warriors play did unlock who Steph is, who Draymond is, and who Klay is, right? And I don't know, man. It makes me happy, even though the game was disgusting today. That Klay is.
Yeah, let's get the Knicks out of town.
Yeah, dude. Who are the toughest watch? Because I love watching a lot of basketball teams in the NBA. There's so many fun ones, but the Knicks are at the bottom. Like, I wonder who else. Like, I'd much rather watch OKC. I even rather watch Houston.
I mean, I've been on record saying the Knicks are my least favorite watch in the NBA, not because they're the worst, but because they're so mediocre, but they like ugly up the game. You know, it's never going anywhere. It's just, and they're always the same. It's always, they're always like a 33-win team, man. They're just
Derrick Rose is still playing for Tibbs. They're always the same. And they also don't have like a fun guy. Like, even if the Magic are terrible, you know, Jalen Suggs could be cool. Paulo Banchero is you know, he could be amazing.
You're curious.
Yeah, he's amazing, actually. So
I'm not curious about Julius Randle. No, I know who he is.
I know. We know. We know who he is. So, should we get to the goons? Do we have any more topics?
Let's get to the goons.
All right, let's go.
Let's get Francisco up here. What's up, man?
Hi.
What time is it, my man?
3:07.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, good to get to me first. Time to go to bed. No, but well, today the mood is really different from the last game, and of course we won. But the Knicks, like you were saying, they I'm not gonna say they stink because they don't. They, like you said like you tweeted, sorry, is like a root canal. The tips, and it's bad. But then we hit some shots, but to start the game, Steph was point guard, and the thing with Klay is he made some good passes. He was catching the ball on the wing and made some good passes to Looney on some dives. And that got the ball moving around, and it led to easier shots for everyone. So that's why you had like three of them over 20, and the ball just moved. JaMychal, he started breaking some layups in the beginning, but then but then he was patient. He got the ball, he let them fly by, and then he just dunked easily because he's athletic enough to do that. That's a good thing, but there's a lot of things to work out. The Lamb minutes, they're working, but today didn't play well. That's not a long-term solution, but for now, it's getting them by. Because, Andy, you're saying Kuminga but will play those minutes, but I don't know if he can shoot enough to play because to play as a 3, there's no way. But he should be playing the 4 minutes with Draymond at the 5, and a 5 with Draymond at the 4. But there's a way out. If they played like this, if Klay played, I'm not gonna not bad basketball, let's say like that. In the road games, we would win easily in Charlotte and Detroit, and we wouldn't be talking like it's the end of the world. And the last game, the playoffs, and no, they're gonna go there. You just need to win the easy ones away from home, and away you're gonna be good. At home you're gonna be good. So there's, and when you get to the playoffs, you just need to steal one away from home, since they do it every year. Well,
I think so. I think, you know, I was talking about this in the middle of the game. The Warriors probably played like a B- game today. And if they had done that on their 5-game road trip, they would have won 2 of the games. So they're 7-9 right now. Let's just flip it. They would be
9-7. You'd be I don't know, around 6-5 seed, and just take it from there. They don't need to be They don't need and they won't be the number 2 or the 3 because maybe the 3, but they can't wear down Steph and Draymond. Okay, you need them fresh for the playoffs.
And that's one of the problems is they've already played 2 back-to-backs.
No,
I assume, and I assume they're playing in New Orleans on Monday. Like they're
right now, it sounds like they are, but yeah, I mean, it's early. It's too early. So.
Yeah, you can't punt it. You can't punt it.
Yeah.
And I think
they punted the early season game. The different was last year they started 18-2 and then they coasted. This year they tried to coast and it didn't work out. And now they need to go on the run in the middle of the year for them to rest some people at the end of the season. But they're gonna do it.
Yeah. God forbid, knock on wood, Steph rolls an ankle, right? And so
let's not speak about injuries because those would derail everything. But no, and the thing is, Klay was great. Poole was good, but he needs to be more decisive. He needs to shoot. He needs to get the ball and get to the rim, not dribble around and shoot it. And Steph does it really well. The mid range. Poole needs to pull up from the mid range, and he has a good game from the mid range. He just needs to be more decisive, and then it all goes from there.
Yeah. Francisco, appreciate you. Yeah, no, I mean it does. On the most basic level, if they play Warriors basketball, they won't throw games away. And no matter what you think of this team of the bench, they threw 4 games away start season, maybe?
Yeah.
3? Definitely something. Yeah, I don't know.
10. No, it's serious. Yeah.
Something like that. All right, we got a super chat from Awesome. They need one more wing or center to stabilize. I don't disagree. I think I think one more high IQ vet on this bench, I'll feel very confident about guys like Jordan Poole and Kuminga finding their role. You know, could be a big, could be a wing, could be like Andre Iguodala 5 years younger, could be could be like a big like Jakob Poeltl doing his Bogan impression. You know, there's multiple. It could have been Otto Porter who did it last year. There's multiple ways to do this, but like just someone who's kind of like going to be the adult with that second unit.
I need to read this quote out. This is huge.
Oh, yeah,
this is huge. So JaMychal Green says, and this is after the game, the Warriors had a great team meeting this morning. I think we addressed a lot of things that needed to be addressed. We addressed the elephants in the room. Samuel, what was addressed?
Big Jim.
Oh my! You are why we don't have GP2 in here. You.
Yes, exactly.
You.
Just sending hate mail to Santa Cruz.
Oh my
no. I mean, I think they've all said it. I think they've all been playing with different agendas, right? Like, you got young guys trying to get shots up. You got Jordan Poole kind of unsure of his role. You got Klay trying to get shots up. At least for one night, and it wasn't even clean basketball, and the Knicks really suck in many different ways, but they at least played together. Just if they just try to move the ball and play together, they're gonna be fine. Or at minimum, we'll know in 20 games like what their basketball hole is, as opposed to what we've seen through the first 15 games. It's just like it's just a team who's bullshitting.
Yep. And I that's right. I think all those things. Draymond, he's not been playing well, right? So looked like he was a little bit more energy today. Dude made a jumper and then a 3. Like, what was going on out there today? So I'm with you, man. Elephant in the room is not just one thing, man. There are elephants in the room. It's a lot. It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. It's a lot of things need to change, but also it's not like they need miraculous things to change. They just need things that are realistic to change. You know what I mean? It's Draymond to be better on defense and hold people accountable. It's Klay Thompson just to be like more like Klay Thompson of old, where he's just smarter. Jordan Poole to be aggressive like he was last season. You get the vets to play better. We talked about JaMychal Green. He played a little better today. So it's not unrealistic things. We're not asking James Wiseman to become Rudy Gobert out there. Like, it is not Like, that's unrealistic. That's unfair to him, right? Or asking Kuminga to actually be Sean Marion. That's unrealistic. You don't, and so I think getting those things out of the way, maybe it'll be better. Maybe it'll just last a couple games. Team meeting though, 15 games in is impressive for the Warriors. Is this like the
official?
meeting?
You know what? Shout out Warriors for not leaking it to like Woj beforehand. Like,
oh my god,
you got bad vibes when it's like Woj tweets out the Warriors have had a team meeting. There's it's like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And you're like, what are these motherfuckers?
With a fucking banner on his tweet, like with a shit-eating grin on his face on the fucking thing. You know
I can't with that. I can't with that at all. All right, let's keep moving.
All right.
I can't with that.
Now I was looking at y'all on other shit. My bad.
You're good, bro.
All right.
No cap. What's up, my man?
Hey, shit, man. All right, so I want to say, cause I got a couple little pointers written down. Shit, I want to say to y'all. All right, so as far as I just read an article today about the Lakers and the Pistons targeting Miles Bridges. We could target him right. He's on his lowest of the lowest in the league right now for the vet minimum. Let's just say we got the 15th roster spot. Why not target him? That's first. Also, guys, Kuminga, Kuminga and Wiseman for Jordan Clarkson. Money matches up perfectly. Ran through the trade machine. That's second. Also, Gary Trent. I know you guys are hearing the rumors. Gary Trent to the Warriors. I love it. I love that. It's perfect. Also, Klay. Hey, I'm one of the most realistic Warrior fans you want to meet, and probably people get tired of me because I talk hella shit. But I'm all right with keep on starting Klay because I'm a big Poole fanatic. But I'm good with it. I'm a huge Poole fanatic, Jordan Poole fanatic. That's my guy. I love Poole. I feel like for real, I think that all the stuff that's going through his mind, I feel like he wants to start so bad that some nights he like fuck this team. Excuse my language, but bump this team. No bullshit, like dead ass. I feel like he like bumped this team, and he like especially with the comments Steve Kerr had after that Spurs game. That stuck with me. If I'm Poole, he dropped 36 points, and then right after that game, you come out there and said that. They asked him, I think Anthony Slater asked him. He said, that's by benching Klay. He said, and starting Poole, that's never even crossed my mind. That's not even Klay started. Like, what? As bad as Klay has been, for him to just come out like that, like, I wasn't even thought about, like, no. Like, how dare you? I'd have been, if I'm Poole, yeah. The next game, I'm gonna come out there and lay an egg, like, bump y'all, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then that's my opinion. I feel like Poole, when he played bad like that, I feel like he back in his head again. He like, these fools ain't starting me. He in his feelings. That's how I feel, guys. That's all I had to say.
That was
love y'all, man.
That was amazing. We couldn't really talk. No cap. Next time you come on, mute the second screen because we let you roll, and I wanted to say something, but we got a little echo back there. He got a lot of points, Sam. I'm gonna address a few. I thought that was great. The Gary Trent Jr. rumor. I did a little research, and by research, I mean I texted Sam. So the report, if you actually read the report, it was a guess, like some random writer just guessed, like, oh, maybe Gary Trent Jr. Now, I do think the Warriors are interested in some of the Raptors players or in any players, but I personally don't think that would be a good move. I don't think the Warriors need any more shooters. I think they need a guy that knows how to play Warriors basketball, high IQ. You know, if you told me that on the Raptors that Pascal Siakam was a guy that they're targeting, that makes sense. That's a guy I know we could win a championship, right? So it's a guy I know that can play Warriors basketball. So I'm just not. I don't want a guy that doesn't really defend. That's a 2 that just shoots a lot, and I'm good. I'm good. So Jordan Clarkson's another guy where it's just like, I mean, isn't that what Jordan Poole's supposed to be anyway? Do we need another guy like that? So Sam, you're muted, brother.
I agree with you there. Clarkson, I only want Clarkson if you're trading Poole. You know, it's kind of like they need a guy who's kind of defense first. That's just my opinion. If you're gonna make a move, like add something that you don't have. Like they're not missing shooting or like kind of those type of players. To the Miles Bridges point, let's wait to see how the legal situation plays out there. But I guarantee you every team in the NBA is monitoring it. I don't know why Shams just let everyone know the Lakers and Pistons are like super
real shocker. Shocker.
But it's like one of those things where there's nothing to say until there's something to say.
Jared Vanderbilt, by the way, you brought up Jared Vanderbilt in your Bleacher Report. You guys, for the listeners, we got millions. Sam Svendiari is a Bleacher Report columnist now, and you brought up Jared Vanderbilt. I think that's my favorite fit. If I were to pick a guy, he's a young-ish player. He's a 3-4-5 hybrid, probably 4, maybe more of a 5 even. Big,
definitely a 5 for the Warriors.
Yeah, everybody's a 5 for the Warriors. Defensively focused. Maybe not much of a scorer, but definitely looks to pass the ball. Like he's that kind of guy. I'm not gonna act like I watched his entire career, but that's the guy that I would really, really like if I were. He reminds like those type of players. Like think Jaden McDaniels or Jalen McDaniels. Either of those guys are just perfect wing fits. Now those teams aren't gonna trade both players. They're really good defensive, maybe kind of 3 players. But those are the guys that if I were the Warriors, I'm looking at. Kelly Olynyk, I saw you throw him in there. It's like, fine. He's kind of like Otto Porter, right? Like that type of guy where it's like veteran, solid, not high upside, but very, very good floor type of player. But I think Vanderbilt's probably the best one for me. And then if you're talking about the Raptors, it's, if it's not Siakam, then, they got some bigs out there, right? But it's what you're willing to give up for Wiseman. So I like the trade stuff, man. We're only a couple months away. They're going to have to do something.
Yeah, I think we should end it there.
All right.
I think, we'll be back. We'll be back over the weekend. Appreciate everyone. Subscribe. See you soon.